What's up, guys? Welcome to another session of the Take Action Moment. This is where we're going to inspire, motivate, and create change in our life, one action step at a time. So yeah, what I want to do here before we get into today's coffee with Scott, and the topic that I want to talk about is overwhelm. And if you are feeling it, or if you have felt it, or you may feel it in the future, we're going to talk about that. Hey, Hassan, what's up? How you doing? Hassan, what are you drinking today? Drinking any coffee, tea? What are you drinking? I've got the bulletproof, and I'll tell you what, I'm liking this. Guys, do me a favor before we get rocking and rolling here. Let me know what you guys are drinking. Yeah, Hassan says coffee. Good, man. Awesome. Yeah, and let me know too in the chat. I see a bunch of you jumping on now. Let me know in the chat. Is this your first time here for one of these sessions, these Take Action Moment sessions, Coffee with Scott? I'm really enjoying this. I got to be honest. It feels really good. I look forward to this. Number one, I look forward to my second cup of coffee, and I also look forward to now hanging out with people like you. So the question I have for you, though, and again, I want you guys to participate here. I want you guys to be here, okay? Because I know that we're virtual right now, but I want this to be powerful for all of us, all right? And so what I want to know is, do you feel overwhelmed right now in your life, or in your business, or just in general? All right. And what I want to talk about today, I believe if you understand how to switch it, which we're going to talk about how to do that, and I'm going to share a story with you. And it's something that we all can do. Okay. But we got to get this right up here. And it's not always easy. Hey, Lakotas. Drinking, mate. Now. Oh, nice. Looks like we got some YouTube viewers, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, I want to talk about overwhelm. I want to talk about really how to overcome it. I want to give you guys a little hack that could really change things. And whenever you start to feel as though you are getting overwhelmed, I want you to think about this. All right. Now, before we get into the talk here, I did want to, hey, Raymond, what's up? Good morning to you as well. Yeah, so let me, I see the sun is shining there too, or maybe it's supposed to be shining, Raymond. But yeah, do me a favor too. If you guys, I mean, this is new, right? This Coffee with Scott session here that I've been doing every morning now for the past week. I'm going to continue to do these. And I'm calling it the Take Action Moment because I want to give you guys a moment, something that you can do, something that you can take action on right now. Okay. And this here today is actionable, and it's something that you're going to be able to walk away from this coffee talk, and you're going to be able to actually do something. All right. So that's what we're going to do here. So the other thing is, let me know if there's any questions you have for a future, Coffee with Scott Take Action Moment session here. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd be more than happy to answer anything with you. I want this to be interactive. I want this to be as though we're actually having coffee, tea, a drink of your choice together, and a quick little burst in the morning. And then, if you think someone would get value from this, if you think that one of your friends or family members or colleagues or whatever would get value from this and should be hanging out with us in the mornings, invite them. All right. Send them a link, share this. Do whatever you do on whatever platform you're on right now to let other people know about this. All right. And I've got some really cool things that I want to share in upcoming coffee sessions. I've just got a whole bunch of things that I want to do, because this is, yes, if you're coming in, you're probably thinking to yourself, this is about business. And it can be, but it also is about this. And that is the mindset in life in general. And how do we get the most out of life? How do we actually do stuff every single day that moves the needle? All right. And that's what I really want to talk about in all of these episodes. But a lot of times it does tie back to business. So let me share a story with you. All right. Probably, let's see here. My son is 21, gonna be 22. So 22 years ago, I was building a house, okay? And I was building a house from scratch, okay? So I was 20, what, 20, let's see here. I got to do some math here. I was like 23, 24-ish. And I decided I wanted to build a house because while I was in the construction field, I wanted to build a house because I just dreamed of building my own house that my family would have, you know, that would grow up in, right? Like my kids, my wife, and I. And so we decided to do that. And we started building, let's see, when was that? It was back in 96. I forget. I'm bad on dates. But let's just say that it was around that time. And so I was working a full-time job, okay, in the construction field for my father's company, his construction company. And I was working 60 plus hours a week and I was busting my tail, okay, busting my butt. All right. And I decided I was going to build this house. Well, how are you going to build this structure, right? Like, that's a lot of work. There's a lot of different pieces. So I remember very, very clearly, we had the foundation poured. Okay. That was the only thing I really subbed out, by the way. I had the foundation poured, had the floors poured, all of that stuff, had a really good foundation, right? But I remember getting the first load of lumber delivered to the house. I remember it vividly. And I remember looking at my dad and I go, wow, we got to build a house, right? And he was like, yeah, you do. He didn't say we, he said you. And he did help a lot. But I remember looking at that being like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. Like, I know what goes into that, right? I've got to frame the floor. Then I got to frame the walls, interior, exterior. Then I got to put the second floor on. Then I've got to put the second floor walls on. Then I have to put the trusses up for the roof system. Then I've got to put the sheathing on the roof. Then I've got to put the shingles on the roof. Now I got to go back inside. I got to wire everything. I got to put the plumbing in. I got to put the heating in. I got to put the, the drywall up. I got to tape the joints. I got to have it painted. I got all of these things. I got to side the exterior. I got to do all of this stuff, right? All of these different things. I'm just like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into, right? So I very easily could have said, this is too much work. I'm just going to have someone else do it because I don't want to deal with this and I'm just feeling overwhelmed. But what I did is the same exact thing that I do in any single project that I do now. And that taught me a valuable lesson, by the way. Oh, and little side note, built the house in 11 months, by the way, as I was working a full-time job. So when people say, Scott, I don't have time to build a business, or I don't have time to do this thing, I don't have any sympathy for that. Because for the most part, most people are just making excuses and they're not getting the work done, okay? Because it's overwhelming. It's daunting to think about starting a business from scratch. Oh my gosh, there's so much I got to learn. There's so much I got to do. It seems like this huge thing. So there's two words, well, actually 3 words. Let's go with 3 words that I want you to take away from today on any project that you're working on or anything that you are seeming is overwhelming. And a lot of times it's because you have this big thing that you're looking at and you're like, there's just so much, I don't even know where to start, or there's so much, I'm just going to avoid it so I don't have to do it, right? Most of the stuff that we're doing, we can probably classify it as a project, right? So I think that's first off, right? Identify what it is. What is that project? Okay. You can say, well, what is the goal? The goal is to, replace the income in my job so I can stay at home with my family. Okay. That's great. But what is the thing, the vehicle, the thing that we're building that's going to get us there, right? It's the house. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to chunk it down. Okay. Chunk it down. And here's exactly how this works, okay? So if you look at the house and you go, oh my gosh, like how am I got to think about the tubs that I'm going to put in there. I got to think about the wiring. I got to think, no. The first thing I needed to think about was who's going to dig the hole and create the foundation for me, right? And if I'm not going to do it, I got to find the right person to do it. That's first. I can't put the roof on until I get the footings poured and the foundation poured, right? So the way to not get overwhelmed is you need to look at any project, any scenario that you're doing right now. You need to look at it like that. And then you need to come back. There's always going to be beginning steps before you can ever get to that one thing, right? But here's what I would have you do, okay? Take that project, and I want you to sit down. I want you to put it on a piece of paper, and I want you to take that project, and I want you to put it up there in the right-hand corner of the paper. And then I want you to start writing every single thing that needs to be done to complete that project. Every single thing. And what's going to happen is you're going to start to see there's certain things that need to be done before the other thing. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to only focus on the things that we have to do in order so we can do the next thing, right? There's always a progression there. Always. Right? Again, looking at the house situation, I'm not picking up carpet until I get this thing built and framed and get everything else done, right? So I'm not worrying about the flooring. I'm not worrying about bathroom fixtures yet. I'm worrying about that stuff later. I got to build this thing first, right? So if we look at it like a website, well, number one, if we're building out a website, the very first thing we need is a website name, a domain name, right? So we got to go through that process. And then from there, we got to get hosting. And then from there, we have to basically pick a theme to put on WordPress. And now we've got a website, right? So there's really 3 different parts there, even though each one has its own set of things. Right? So you're always able to break things down, but I think we overcomplicate it, number one. And number two, then we just get overwhelmed. And then we start, let me just go over here and do this over here, and I'll do that tomorrow. And then you push that off until the next day and the next day because we're avoiding it because we're overwhelmed. All right? So here's another exercise for you. Take that piece of paper, take another new piece of paper, and write down and just draw like little boxes, and those are projects. All right. And in your head right now, you're probably processing different projects, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your life, whether it's in the current situation that we're in right now and figuring out how you're going to manage this over here because of this crisis that we're in. Right. So I want you to start blocking it out. Right. And then what's going to happen there is you're going to start to be able to see these. You're going to be able to identify that these are projects or these are things that you are wanting to achieve. Right. So what we want to do is break it down. I can't stress it enough. When you draw things or write things down, and you don't have to be the best, artist to draw this stuff. I'm not, but it makes you feel as though you can see it better. And then we can start to organize it. Another great exercise is just take some Post-it notes, put them on your table, and just write those projects or those things that are on your mind. And then you can start to prioritize, and then you can start to break down the project in smaller bite-sized pieces. All right. And it's funny. My business partner always says to me, I know what you're going to say, Scott, chunk it down. And that's exactly what I say all the time, because we can get overwhelmed, but we can't, because we want that we want to achieve that thing. But what we need to do is we need to be able to go ahead and really, really chunk it down. So guys, let me know, is there something that you could do right now to chunk it down, to make it simpler? So this way here, you can actually achieve that. Let me know in the comments. What's up, Karen? I like that. That's a great question. Dan says, I tried coffee back in the 90s. Bitter. You didn't like it, Dan? No coffee? I'll tell you what, try the Bulletproof. Man, Bulletproof, by the way, coffee. You can buy their coffee or you can buy your own. I usually go with Bulletproof coffee. It's supposed to be like, it's mold free, all that stuff. But then you put a little bit of butter in it and then you blend it. The key is you got to blend it. You got to whip it. And then it gets frothy and it's just delicious. So I'm going to answer this other question here. Okay. Neaton. And I always wonder, am I saying your name right, Neaton? Nitin or Neaton? Scott, how do you stay patient in the beginning of your journey? Love this question. Okay, it's not easy. Okay, I'll be upfront with you. It's not easy, but I've been down the road plenty of times that I do know that if I stay true to where I'm going and I keep showing up, even if it's the smallest thing, and I got this other book that I've been reading, which I've been loving, is Tiny Habits. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. We all want to we want to jump really far, right? We want to go from here to here, right? Here to here. But why not go from here to here, and then to here, and here, and eventually you're going to get there. another example of this is, we're building out 2 brands inside of Brand Creators Academy right now. And both of them are just about 6 months old. Okay. Our main goal here is to get traffic. You guys have been hearing me talk a lot about, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, been hearing me talk a lot about just traffic is it. We got to get traffic. And if we get traffic, everything else opens up, and it does. And, the first 3 months, not really getting any traffic, very small bits, but we're still showing up, still putting out content, right? Next month, a little bit more, still putting out content. Month 6, boom, hockey stick. Okay. Because I've been down this road, and I know it's just like working out. I might work out for a week. I'm not going to see results, right? But if I keep working out, I'm going to eventually start to see the reward of working out. But yet you have to think to yourself, what is the main goal that you're trying to achieve? What is that main goal? And if it's that thing that you really, really want, if you have a strong why, you're going to do it. But then you got to figure out the plan, the action steps that you do every single day, right? And again, they don't have to be big, right? I talked about this on a past Coffee with Scott, and it's something that I'm doing all the time now, right? So I'm taking these little, small, tiny habits, and I'm incorporating them in my day. One of them is here meeting the coffee with you. This is a way for me to show up, because people like you are showing up and we're hanging out, and I get energy from this. This actually takes me, and it just makes my day just that much better, because I feel like I did something good, and I'm also connecting with my people, right? I'm connecting with you guys. It's like hanging out with your people, and you leave there feeling really good, right? So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking like small little habits. So one, for example, is every single day in between my first and second cup of coffee, while it's brewing, I go out in my garage where I have my gym set up, and I do 2 sets of something, whether that's bench press, whether that's pull downs, whether that's lat pull downs, whatever it is, it's something there for 5 minutes. Now, whether I work out the rest of the day doesn't matter, because I got that one thing done, and eventually that's going to start to build upon itself. It also gets me in the rhythm of showing up and doing something, an action step. And we all know, actions speak louder than words, right? So cool. That's hopefully that helped you. It's not easy, but you got to stay the course, but you also need that why, and you need to make sure that why is strong, and it's there. So get clear with that. Let's see here. So thanks for that. Karen, what's up? Good morning to you as well. So it's knitting. Okay, good. I'm glad I pronounced that right. Troy, what's up? Boom. What's up, Troy? Troy, my pharmacy friend. How's the pharmacy world doing right now? I got a buddy of mine that's in the pharmacy world as well. It's crazy. But yeah, so thanks for showing up, man. Okay, cool. So Lakotis, the first thing to do is hire a VA to take care of the website creation. Clarification, is tea more powerful than coffee? Oh, I love it. And so you're calling me mate. So does that mean that you're from Australia? I'm just wondering. But yeah, so first thing to do to hire a VA is to take care of a website creation. It could be if you don't want to do that part of it, then it could be, or it's okay. I need to figure out what my website domain is going to be. So before I even think about setting up the website, I got to figure out that one piece. That's one chunk, right? Now you get that done. Now you're like, okay, what's the next chunk? The next chunk is, well, I got my domain picked. Now I got to buy it, right? Buy it, right? I know it seems small, but that's what you do next, right? The next thing is, okay, I got the domain. What do I do with it? Well, I got to host it somewhere. So I got to get hosting. So I go get my hosting. Now, if you don't know how to do these, you either hire it or you figure it out. You learn that skill set, right? I've done all of those steps myself, but in the past, I'm hiring it because once I learn how to do it, now I can start to afford to pay for it, then I'll do it. And a lot of times to have someone set up a website, it's cheap. But yeah, that's correct. Okay, so the house example. When I was building my house, I could have poured the foundation myself, but I didn't. Because I'm like, you know what? There's people that have all the right equipment. I don't have to rent it. They're going to be able to be in here and out of here. They're going to do it right. They do it every day. Let them do it. And I'll just pay for it. And I did, right? The rest of it, I did myself. Okay. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question. Karen, let's see. I'm enjoying coffee with you. Besides the website, is there any other or another way to gather emails? Well, yeah, there's a lot of different ways that we can gather emails. So if you don't have a website, my preferred choice of building an email list, which actually, what's today? Thursday. Yesterday, the podcast episode, I went over one of our students inside of Brand Creators Academy, and she built an email list through running Facebook ads over to her giveaway for her brand. And she built an email list of 9,360, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it's close to that. It's over 9,000. So she didn't necessarily get it from website traffic. She paid for the traffic. So if you want to pay for it, you use Facebook ads and bringing them over to either a lead magnet of some kind, which could be the giveaway, the contest, to get people to raise their hand that are interested in your market. Or if you have website traffic, then you can convert it there to an email as well. And there's a variety of different ways. The biggest thing you need to do, though, is you need to understand what your market wants and what they need, and then put it in front of them. And then just figure out how to get it in front of them. And an easy way is to just pay Facebook to get in front of the right people. And she was getting emails for 16 cents, which is crazy. So you don't have to spend, a ton of money. You can do it. You can spend $100 and start building your email list. But yeah, that's what we prefer to do. So hopefully that helped. Cool. So guys, that is your Coffee with Scott. Your take action moment today is to chunk it down. Okay. Take whatever you're doing right now. Take a deep breath. You guys heard me say in one of my other Coffee with Scott's, breathing is a big deal. So, and I'm not much of a yoga guy and I'm not much of a meditation guy, but I do like to take a few nice deep breaths and let it out, de-stress, and then figure out what are those big projects that are on our minds that we seem like it's just so overwhelming. How do we get through it? We chunk it down. That's how we do it. That's your action step for today. All right. Okay. Another question here. Karen says, thank you. You are very welcome, Karen. And Karen, thank you so much for showing up and having coffee with me. Mike says, I want to develop a business around self-development. I don't know if that's too broad. I was thinking niching down to only focus on self-development books, but I'm not sure if that's too small. Yeah, Mike, it is a little broad. And you can always go there. Here's always what I recommend anyone that wants to go and start, whether it's a business or they want to go into a different niche or whatever. You don't want to go so broad at first, but here's a big but. You don't want to pigeonhole yourself to where you can't go broader later. Okay. So I would target specific people, okay, that you're trying to help. And then from there, you're going to attract those people. Might be smaller audience, doesn't matter. And then from there, you can start to widen that out down the line. All right. And I mean, I've done that over the years. I mean, I was in the construction field, then I was into photography, brick and mortar. Then from there, and we focus just on family photography and mainly baby photography, really newborns, infants, toddlers, that type of stuff. And then from there, we went online and started teaching other people how to do what we were doing in our brick and mortar. So you're always wanting to niche down. Sometimes you can niche down too much. A lot of times you want to niche down, but you also want to know who is that specific market that you're targeting. And so I would try to get a little bit more clear on that and then focus on that. But I would not make my brand name that specific, meaning I wouldn't be like kayakbassfishingtoday.com, right? It would be more along the lines of like the ultimate fishing experience.com or something like that. And then I would have bass fishing, I'd have deep sea fishing, I'd have all these other verticals underneath the main brand. So hopefully that helped you. Lakotis, thanks for your time with us. No problem. Thank you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, which I know you are, do me a favor, like this. And I think do you like it or do you just, you smash the something? I don't know what you do on YouTube. I forgot. But whatever you do to give it some love on YouTube, could you do that for me? If you're watching this on Periscope, thank you. And if you're watching this on Facebook, thank you as well. And do me a favor. I want these Coffee with Scott sessions to be with the right people. And you guys are the right people because you're here. Do me a favor. Invite someone, even if it's one person that you want to have coffee with every single morning. Invite them over. Let's have coffee with them as well if you think that they would get value. Because this here is all about you coming in, getting out, and leaving with something that you can go out there and take action on. And today, that take action step is, you guessed it, chunk it down. All right? All right. Yeah, no problem, Mike. No problem. Thank you. And guys, have a great day. And get out there and chunk it down. All right, guys, take care. Take action. Talk to you soon. We'll see you tomorrow.